Welcome to the Tech Insider, where we talk to the people who can give you the insights and trends that matter to you in your business. I'm Christine Grail with Leica Geosystems. I'm so honored to have with us on our program today Tom Ruschkewicz. He is the National Practice Leader for Survey and Geospatial at Pape-Dawson Engineers in San Antonio. Welcome to the program, Tom.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Tom, I am curious. I know I've talked to a lot of different surveyors, and every surveyor comes into the profession in a different way. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up in surveying?
Oh, that's interesting. I started my career in surveying 30 years ago, actually 30 years this year. I was working as a commercial title officer in the title insurance industry and worked with a lot of different land surveyors around the city. And they offered me a job to come in and help them with some of their ALTA surveys. So I took a job as a technician there, and 30 years later, here I am.
So you just kind of fell in love with the profession of surveying, or did it just keep you there? Like, how did you end up staying?
Well, it paid better. No, I
Okay.
did. I initially went to school to be an architect, and then changed my degree to building technology. So I was in the industry a little bit anyway, but yet when I was working as a commercial title officer, I really enjoyed looking over the maps, the ALTA surveys, and all that kind of stuff. So it was very attractive to me. It was something that I really enjoyed doing, and so it naturally progressing into the career was good for me.
Well, you're with Pape Dawson, and they are, of course, based in San Antonio. You are based in Austin, so not right there in San Antonio, but close by. And Pape Dawson's gone through quite a bit of change. It was founded, I believe, in 1965 and grew organically over the years. And then over the last 10 years, it's been through some interesting change. I think the company's grown a lot through acquisition. And really, it looked like a lot of those acquisitions have happened just within the last 5 years.
That's correct. You're right. Pape-Dawson, we are celebrating our 60th year this year, so we're really excited about that. Right now, the company, we're about 1,800 people across the United States. I think we have close to 25 different offices in Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, and here in Texas. In Texas, that's our largest population. I think we have about 1,200 people here in the Texas area. And in our survey geospatial group, we have 375 people across the United States, and in Texas, 240 in our survey geospatial group. So, one of the largest survey geospatial groups in Texas and throughout the Southeast.
That's impressive. So, what is it that Pape Dawson is most known for in that region? Why do your clients come to you with their projects?
Number one, we're mostly known for land development, both residential and commercial. That makes up about 65% of our business. The other business lines include water and transportation and some others as well. The reputation here in Texas, it was really built around the customer service that we have for our clients. Our clients love using us. We in San Antonio, I think we own about 60% of the land development market for civil engineering. So, great reputation of doing great work and having great relationships with our client.
Okay, nice. Now, you were brought in about a year and a half ago, I believe, and you had quite a big objective when you first stepped into your role. With all of the acquisitions that Pape Dawson has been through, I believe you were brought in to try to bring all of those together into some semblance of standard operating procedures. Tell me about that a little bit because that's quite a big task.
One of the things that I noticed coming into Pape Dawson is that every company, every office, right, acted like its own company, and they had their own way of doing things and this and that. So, what I found with that, it was very difficult to work share. We would send crews from one office to the other, and they collected data differently than the folks there at that particular office. So it was very apparent to me that that was something that we're going to have to work on and we're going to have to fix and bring ourselves together so we could collaborate better on projects and perform the work as expected, and get it done, when we needed to, and not have as many errors and everything else.
Sure. So it's really about optimizing efficiency. But I think there are also some challenges when it comes to our modern instruments, the surveying instruments. And when you don't have a standard way of approaching projects, it's pretty easy to miss some of the capabilities that are available in those instruments.
Right, right, absolutely. Not having that was another thing too, is we had some equipment that we needed to upgrade. We needed to make sure that all of them had the CCPs on them, so all the firmware was the same in them. There were a lot of different things that we were challenged with when I came in, that we've been working on and still working on. We're right in the middle of now of shifting to a complete different way of our workflow, from data collection all the way to CAD. We revamped the entire system. We created different code lists. We've done a lot of different things right now to help standardize our operation across the company.
Sounds like a pretty big job, but I know you've made a ton of progress. And I just think it's amazing that the company culture has really come alongside and supported that. What are some of the biggest challenges when you talk about implementing unified workflows across teams? What are some of the biggest challenges that are typically encountered? I mean, I think we mentioned one of them a little bit ago. It's just like we have teams and surveyors, individuals who have their own way of doing things, and that can be hard to overcome.
Yeah, the first thing was, Pape-Dawson has a great reputation of providing a quality product. So one of the biggest challenges for me was, hey, I know we're really good at what we do, but we can be better. We can do things more efficiently. We can be more productive. We can use a new data management structure to make it easier for us to work together. And the challenge there was, people were like, well, we do good work. What makes you think that this way is going to be better than what we do? We feel like we're one of the best in the industry, and you're saying that we could be better. So that mentality, that was a challenge. Getting people to work together, showing people what was out there as far as technology was concerned, the software and what its capabilities are. It took a while for us to really show people, to get them to buy in. That was the biggest challenge, is getting the buy-in from people when they thought that what they were doing was good enough. And now they see the benefit of us moving to this different system, changing our workflows, right? It's not that the work that we were producing was of poor quality. It wasn't. It was we could provide a better product, a better uh, to our customers, to our engineers, to our other groups as well, if we changed our workflows and our processes. For example, collecting data in the field. We had a standard code list, but now we've added attributes. So when we go to a manhole and we shoot the location of that manhole, we also store invert information, and those attributes, that information, now flows with that code all the way into CAD. So that engineer can see all that information, and it's right there with the point in AutoCAD. So little things like that to provide better information, better workflow, better quality, all of those things. Once we showed those folks that we could do this and enhance what we were doing for our customers, everybody, it was an easy buy-in after that.
Well, what was the key to getting that buy-in though? I mean, was it as simple as just showing them the value? That takes some time though, right?
Yeah, it took us close to a year to really develop our new process and procedures. We created a committee. We call it an Infinity Committee, and they worked on these different workflows, these code lists, how everything processes in Infinity, and how to do it for a while. And we had a plan. We developed a plan. this is what we're going to do first. We're going to start at when we turn on the instrument and we collect a point, all the way to when we bring it into CAD and how it processes in CAD and the survey database there. So that whole process started from developing the code list, adding those attributes, adding the information we wanted our crews to collect. We also added line strings and symbology. So when the crew is collecting data, they can see the lines that they're surveying out there in the field. So we gave them a better process for them to perform work by seeing what they were doing out there. And from there, how it processes into infinity and beyond. So
It sounds like you were really transparent through the process, telling them what you were going to do, showing them how to do it, showing them the value. Were you at any point concerned that you would lose people through this process?
Oh, a couple times. There were some arguments, had to bring some people aside and say, hey, we're trying to improve the process, not start fist fights. So there was a lot of people that had different ideas. We were challenged with, trying to incorporate everybody's ideas and making sure they were, there was positivity in when we had to reject an idea because it wouldn't work a certain way. We encourage them, hey, that was a great idea, it just doesn't work, what else do you have? So those are a lot of different ways that we um, those were the different challenges and the things that we had when we were trying to develop all this.
What was the role of your technology provider in all this? I think you guys work with G4GR there in Texas. And of course, that's a Leica Geosystems dealer. Um,
Yeah.
what what role did they play in helping with any of this?
Answering a lot of questions. They really helped us when we were challenged with doing something, especially in Infinity or collecting data out in the field. They were very, very supportive and helpful in getting us to understand. Wait, this is what we want to do. How do we do that? Oh, here, let me show you. And so I would have to say that their support has been tremendous throughout this process. In fact, in February, we had um, a a custom made to measure training conference here in Austin. We had about 35 folks from throughout the state come here, party chiefs, survey technicians, and our Leica Infinity Committee. Both G4 and Leica USA came in and we had specialized training, and it was training on the systems that we were improving. So everybody got to see firsthand what we were trying to accomplish, how we were going to implement it, and what the benefits were. And that it was a fantastic conference, great support from G4 and Donnie Steele and his team, and then also Craig and his group too as well coming in. They really helped out.
That's great. I would imagine in your role, one of the things you do is you need to lean pretty hard on your technology providers to do whatever it is you need to perform your job, right? Like they have to do their job so that you can do yours.
I wouldn't say lean hard. Donnie and Peyton and all the other guys, they'll pick up the phone when we call. We have a great teaming relationship with them. It's been actually very refreshing to see the support that we get from them. So they know that we're trying to accomplish some things. They know that we're changing our systems. They know that we're trying to improve our workflows, and they've been lockstep with us and helping us anytime we need it, and we're very appreciative for the support that they've given us.
That's fantastic. It really sounds more like a partnership than a technology provider situation, which is really beneficial to everyone. And so I know that Pape-Dawson has also been very forward thinking in implementing some of the latest technology because you're looking for every and any opportunity to get that efficiency. And one of the ways to do that is taking advantage of all the technology has to offer. Let's talk about that for a minute. What is the role of technology in today's serving profession?
The role is to enhance the data that we're collecting. You go back 30 years and it's really, when we went out and collected data, it was coordinate data with a description. Today, with technology, we can not only we have more satellites in the air, so we don't have to go out at 3 o'clock in the morning with backpacks. Some of the older surveyors probably giggling about that. Yeah, I was one of them. We can work in more congested environments. We can work in more rural environments with trees, with the satellites. The data we're collecting is more robust. We can add attributes to data. We can, and there are more metadata in those codes that those points that we collect. And then the efficiency of the survey equipment nowadays, digital levels, for example. I mean, it is we have gone to where we have digital levels for all of our crews. It's required that we use it for all control, and it makes the process so simple and so easy just to go out there, run a digital level loop, and process it in infinity and be able to make our adjustments in there with that. It's made a world of difference. So technology not only allows us to work smarter, but it also helps us work more efficiently, and bring more value to our clients and customers with that technology and the information we can collect with it.
Well, and you've been in the profession long enough that you know as soon as you say something along the lines of it makes technology easy, you have a number of surveyors that cringe because then you get the whole line about the button pushers and where the profession's going. But really things are changing, right? I mean, technology is introducing a whole new way of doing things. It's also raising the bar on the expectations that your
Right.
clients have for when you come in and when you're providing service. They expect to see a bit more. So tell me a little bit about how you see surveying evolve right now because of the new capabilities that are available.
I think that surveying evolving just from you know, a horizontal, vertical, and description, a coordinate value to where it's at today has been tremendous with LiDAR, with imagery, all the different tools that are out there today. It's really expanded on the survey and geospatial industry. Now, today we can fly a long linear corridor with an aircraft and a LiDAR sensor and collect 50, 60 points per meter or more. We can roll a mobile mapping unit down a roadway and collect 5,000 points per meter. That's incredible when you compare to back, 30 years ago where we were doing, 25, 50-foot cross sections on a road, and getting 1 or 2 points per meter if we were lucky. So the industry has evolved. Technology has helped us evolve in order to collect that information that we couldn't have done that in 25, 30 years ago.
That is a huge amount of data that you're talking about. And it almost sounds like we've really shifted from having the majority of survey work being done in the field to now a lot of the heavy lifting is being done in the office. And I know that transition has been happening for some time, but it seems like every new technology that comes into play pushes that even more into the realm of office versus field. Um, do
Right.
you see do you see that changing the skill set that you need to bring in?
We're always going to need surveying in our profession. We need those experts to understand accuracy and control and developing property boundaries and all the things that we need in order to make a project successful. But we've replaced crews having to go out and do topography work on a 400-acre site with somebody who has a skill set to run a drone with a lidar sensor on it. What would take us 6 weeks to do is now taking us 6 to 8 hours, with a tremendous amount more data. We're looking for more geospatial technicians nowadays than we are sometimes survey technicians because we want to build and grow that capability. But we still need surveyors. Uh, we still need those folks to go out there and make sure that the targeting is accurate, the control is accurate, everything there fits our accuracy standards. Because if it doesn't, then the drone, the lidar, all the flown information is not going to be as accurate as what we need it to be.
So going from 6 weeks to 6 to 8 hours, that is a huge gain in efficiency. And I would imagine that the technology that you have there at Pape Dawson combined with the way you approach business, that's a pretty big draw to that next generation professional that is really looking for all of the high tech capabilities of a fun career, right?
Yeah, we've had several folks in our groups where they started out in surveying and end up in the geospatial side because they just love the technology and the challenges that it brings, and the information that they can collect and process. That's just something that we've seen a lot of in the industry. I've enjoyed working with the geospatial side of our business. I started out as a surveyor, but I've been involved with projects where we've mapped hundreds of miles with mobile mappers or fixed wing aircraft with lidar sensors attached or other technology as well. It's an evolving part of our business, and it's an important part of our business too.
That's so much fun. Tell me a little bit about the culture there at Pape-Dawson, because I know technology is one thing, but people is really what drives the success of any organization.
So yes, that's one of the things that has really drawn me to this company was the culture. They care about people. They care about their employees. It's all about respect. It's about family. It's about hard work, but family comes first. And that's been the most refreshing thing about coming to Pape Dawson is the culture and the mission statement and how they run the company with those developed with that developed culture. So.
Give me some real world examples, or one example even of a project where you have started to see all of this come together, and something that really demonstrates that all of this hard work and all of the things, all of the investments that Pape Dawson has made are really paying off.
The best project that I could talk about is our TxDOT 183 360 project that we worked on last year. It was a combination of everything that you could imagine. We had traditional surveying, we had fixed wing aircraft with lidar and imagery. We had terrestrial scanners. We used mobile mapping on a section of it. Anyway, that was 27 miles of TxDOT right away, probably in the most congested area of Dallas Fort Worth, and it was right next to the Dallas Fort Worth Airport, which is one of the busiest airports in the world. We had a lot of different challenges with traffic. We had a lot of different challenges with the airport itself. We couldn't fly it at our traditional height. We had to fly it a little higher than what we typically would, so we weren't in the airspace at a certain time. Air traffic control was a nightmare to deal with there, but we got it done, and we ended up scanning 29 bridges with the P50 scanner, which was great. We've developed all of the our deliverables through the aerial lidar and imagery we collected. So we provided all the aerial mapping on that, all the scanned bridges, all the right-of-way maps. Anyway, that was probably one of the best examples of using our new equipment, our new technology, and on a project that large and in that complex of an environment.
Did you have any time constraints on that project?
Yeah, matter of fact, TxDOT did come to us and ask if we could perform the project within 5 months. All the other vendors on that particular project had said it would be a year. So we looked at it. We looked at our resources. We sat down and came up with a project plan, a schedule, and came back to TxDOT and said, "Yeah, I think we can do it. We're confident we can get it done." And we did. We met on a weekly basis. We went over schedule. We went over percent complete. We looked at the tasks and the challenges that we were having. Did we need more resources to get that done? And we had our own internal challenges as well. We were shifting to a new box flex system for our geospatial team, and was having some challenges of getting that implemented. And so there were a lot of different challenges on this. But yes, we got it done. We got it done in time. TxDOT was surprised that we got it done in that time frame, and glad to as well. So yeah, it was a fun project to be involved in, and the team did a great job.
You have a strange idea of fun. I was just about to say that probably resulted in more than a few sleepless nights for you as that was going on.
Yeah, yeah, I woke up a few times at 3 o'clock in the morning staring at the ceiling going, "Did we get that done? Are we gonna make this? Are we gonna be able to get this completed?" Yes, there were some stressful times, but like I said, the team did a great job. We communicated well together. We knew what the challenges were. We knew if there was something that we needed to get done first or something had to wait on, we pivoted and worked on a different task. I can't say more for the folks that worked on that project and the great collaboration that they had to get that done.
Well, there's nothing like crossing the finish line when you know it has been such an arduous process to get there, and you can look back and see all those hurdles, and that gives you more confidence then going into the next challenging project.
Yeah, we have another segment that's coming up in that area that will start later this year. We don't have the time constraints, but it's still going to be, and we don't have the internal challenges with what we had when we started the project. It should be a smoother process overall, but it's still going to be a challenging environment. We'll have to scan. I think there's 20 something bridges on that segment as well, and lots of different cross sections we'll have to do on some of the creeks and other things. So.
Well, and so probably you're already looking for other challenges. What kind of things are you looking at as far as future growth opportunities?
Um, we would definitely want to get a little bit more in the transportation market. We do a lot of different things now, and our internal team is growing. Our transportation group is growing, so we want to grow with them. We also want to grow outside of our internal group and work with TxDOT more and municipalities more. That's one area. Another area is getting into the electric transmission, electric business, solar, renewables. Those are areas we feel that's in our wheelhouse with our land development background. So those are different kind of markets we're looking at getting into here in the future.
Well, it certainly sounds like Pape-Dawson brings the capabilities, the expertise, and all of that, the technology and people aspects into those as well. So I'm sure you have a lot of fun projects ahead of you. What advice do you have for other firms that are looking at optimizing their operating procedures and adopting technology?
On optimizing their procedures, I would say have a plan, right? And just stay with the plan. It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to take you, a week to do. It's something that's going to take months. And get buy-in from your staff, create a committee, do the things that you need to approach changing your workflows in that type of manner. Make sure that you work with your vendor to get the appropriate training. I've seen where folks have come in and handed them their new equipment and just said, good luck with it and walk away. So make sure you have a good vendor that's a good teaming partner that can show you how to use it, help you develop workflows, and then test it. Make sure that it works with what you're trying to accomplish and develop good standard operating procedures for using that technology. And before you run out and use it on a project, do some sample projects and make sure that it's going to work for what you're looking for as well.
Excellent advice. How would you describe your experience overall with Leica?
Oh, Leica has been fantastic. I've worked with other different companies as well, and the experience here has been fantastic. G4 and Donnie still have done a great job supporting us. The technology has been very impressive with some of the workflows that it has, some of the better systems that I've seen it be able to work with and produce. They're really advanced as far as their equipment is concerned. They were obviously had 4G in a lot of their equipment prior to the 3G decommission. They already had the 4G capability, which was great. We didn't have to make any switches like some of the brands had to. But overall, the support, the interaction, of course, the software, the equipment, the training overall has been fantastic. So, been really impressed and glad to be a partner with Leica.
Where do you see things going in the future, as far as innovations in surveying are concerned? Where do you see it all headed? Of course, now we've got AI playing a big role. We have other, the 3D just continues to be more important. Where do you see it all going?
I think in trends and innovation, we're going to see more software being developed to ingest all of this lidar data and all this high imagery information. I think there's going to be more software that's going to help us develop different tools that can be used by our clients or different deliverables that our clients would need. That's where I kind of see our technology going. That's a hard question.
It is
I
hard.
mean,
I wanna ask a follow-up question, though. Do you
okay.
see do you see clients' needs changing because of the capabilities of technology? Are they asking for different things in their deliverables? Are they now able to consume more in the way of that 3D data?
Most of the stuff that we do, we go out there and we collect these large point clouds of information, and it we put it in a 2D deliverable. So I think that's where the industry is going to change, is then they're going to start to demand more of a 3D deliverable, something that can come from the field into design and into construction in a 3D format. That's where I think we're going to see a lot of changes over the next 5 to 10 years. Um, but I think it's going to take a while to get us there.
Sure. And it all goes back to that efficiency, right? I mean, you at Pape-Dawson, you've developed a very efficient workflow to get the work done. And now it's kind of on the client to develop an efficient way to consume that work. And that's when we'll really start to see impact on some of those big infrastructure projects. We'll start to see the impact on risk reduction and
Right.
just a whole bunch of other areas that we probably haven't even thought of yet. But it's exciting to see the evolution that the industry is going through as a whole.
No, I absolutely agree. I think from the survey geospatial perspective, I think we're way far ahead of civil engineering and construction. And I'll give an example. We could go out there and fly a site with our lidar drones, and lidar is absolute. It's going to give you the absolute accuracy when it hits the ground. It doesn't stab into the ground. It doesn't go past that. It hits that object and it stops and it measures that. And where we've seen is that our data sometimes is more accurate than a contractor can disseminate. So they'll go out there and do um, a verification of the ground, but they'll have a surveyor go out there with a rod who stabs the rod into the ground and loses a tenth. Well, hey, Mr. Surveyor, we're validating the ground and it's different than what you showed in measurement. Well, that's because you're stabbing your rod into the ground and LiDAR is absolute. We're seeing that in some cases, which is really kind of different when you get into that conversation with them. Like, hey, LiDAR stops at the ground. You're stabbing your rod into the ground to measure the same point. Well, it's not going to work. So having those conversations is has been challenging because we've evolved so far beyond what other people can understand. We got to wait for the engineering and the contracting or construction industry to catch up to that.
Well, a lot of that just comes back to education, making sure that they see the proof of what everything is capable of, that they're able to see the evidence of that, and then they'll start
Right.
to embrace it, and the whole industry will move forward. So it is exciting. Well, Tom Ruschkewicz, thank you so much for being on our program today. I have really enjoyed speaking with you, and I hope to have you on the program again at some point in the future.
Great. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Be sure to check out the description for additional resources on this topic. If you enjoyed this content, give us a like. If you'd like to see more of this content, be sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on the Tech Insider.